Hello, and you are joining us in Kensington, and we're going to be installing today some ICS car chargers. In this particular installation, we're going to have 3 chargers going in on a 63 amp supply, and we're going to be utilising the ICS load monitoring hub. So if we have a look at the system here, this is going to be the load management hub, and the CT is going to go around the main tails of our external fuse board. So those CTs are going to go around the main supply, and we're going to digitally set the system up so that all the chargers are interlinked and that none of them will exceed the maximum supply. The ICS chargers themselves, they're sold as the easiest chargers to install, and looking at them at the moment, they do look pretty straightforward. This is the backing plate. They come with these little eye bolts, so you just literally sink an 8mm SDS bit into the wall, and then if you go drilling, that will pull the bolt out, and it will really lock this into the wall nice and securely. Plenty of room inside there for electrical connections, which I like. So we're just gonna gland straight into there. So that's pretty good. And then the chargers itself, why we chose the ICS chargers is because on this particular job there are going to be instances where, because this is quite a big house, but guests are going to come and they're going to want to use the chargers as well, and they might want to make one of them public. And the main thing that the ICS chargers have is an RFID card, and they come with the cards, and you could register once the chargers are all installed. You pay them a subscription, and what will happen is they will monitor the system so that each person has their own card and people can be billed accordingly, because effectively this is like having a petrol station in your car park, so you don't want to be giving people free petrol. So that's the idea behind it. The way that they connect, they're very diverse in the way that they can connect. We can use an Ethernet port, an RJ45 connection down there. You could even use a 4G SIM card, or what we're going to do here is we are just going to use a standard Wi-Fi connection. But the way we're going to do that is a little bit special, because the house is quite far away, and we're going to be beaming the Wi-Fi signal across to the car park, and then we're going to connect them all via Wi-Fi in that way. The first charger is going to go here, serving this bay, and then the next car charger is going to go over there, serving this bay. SWA is going to be clipped low level, and we're going to come down this side here, going down that way, and then we're going to start using some cable tray around the back, and I'll show you what we're going to do around there. This is one of the old chargers that they've got here. We're going to be removing this and putting our third charger in spot there, and we're going to be utilising existing cabling. This is the external fuse board, and currently it's got a 63 amp 16mm cable going to it. And we're going to rejig this fuse board up, and our supplies are going to come from here. Our load monitoring or load management hub, we're going to squeeze this in here somehow. Put some new cable tray going down here. Our new cable tray is going to go right along there, and that's where we were previously, and we're going to run our double cores going along there. Yeah, stay tuned. He's going to be here for a long time because it's a blunt drill. It's a blunt bit. We're doing 2 things here. James is cutting, but he's also keeping warm. It's not done for punishment reasons. It's done more or less for the van's 8 meters away kind of reason. And you can actually begin to see why these are quite easy to do. So if you had about 20 of these car chargers, you can just have one bloke going in doing the drilling, and another guy just mounting the backing plates. Okay, right, now the base is on the wall, all the cables are terminated into there, and it's going to be a case of slotting these on. If you've run an armoured cable, they can be a bit tricky to get the covers back on, but there are some pins. If I show you, look, there's some pins up there that it just slots into. It is an emotional process. Oh, okay, first time that's gone on. In terms of the aesthetics, have a look at that. They're a very simple charger. I think they look quite elegant. So you've got that one there, we've got the second charger over here, and then what we've done is to get these onto the internet. If we'll come, I'll show you around here. To get them onto the internet, there's we're going to beam. What we're going to do, we're going to beam the internet across from the house over to here, and that's going to give us our Wi-Fi signal. And then inside, we're going to put a 2.4 gigahertz modem inside, and then that will give us the Wi-Fi connectivity to get the load monitoring sensor and the 3 chargers monitored up. We're losing light now, and we'll be back tomorrow to finish off. What we're going to do is, because I think it looks a lot neater, is we're going to continue on the cable tray system going along this wall here, and we're just going to have our SWAs clip onto the cable tray. So we've got the brackets for the cable tray, and they're just going to be mounted on there, and then we're going to bolt the tray to that. These RFID cards, which means that you can set up a billing account, and you can put an address on each of these cards, and you can monitor the usage of each charger. And in this particular installation, they've got a communal meter, and what will happen is the residents will rebate whatever they use according to whatever these cards pick up. And it's fairly straightforward. Each charger comes with these set of cards. I think it comes with 2. And if we've got our testing device plugged in, so if we just hold this, there we go, and we're rocking. Test is testing.
Thank you for joining the offices of FireSafe.
I've got your load management hub, which is fantastic because it's the second one we've got and it actually works now. I just want to go over the settings. I just want to go through them one by one. So COM mode will be obviously UDP because we're not using the 485 port. What's the difference between master and CT?
CT mode.
One charger.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
For chargers not updated, so would the chargers can up?
Yeah, we always recommend that you charge it before you think of connecting this up. Make sure your charger's working on the latest sort of version of firmware.
Right, you're joining us over in the servants' quarters of the residence. That phone call took so long that my hair's grown about an inch or 2. I don't want to make this video massively about the IT side of things because it will make for a really boring video, but essentially each piece of equipment, so each car charge and the load management hub, they all broadcast their own Wi-Fi signal. So if you go into your Wi-Fi and you locate it, click on it, put in the password, you'll come up with this little screen, and this is where you put in all the settings. So what we've done now is we've set all 3 chargers to talk to each other, and we've set the load management hub to limit the supply to 48 amps. We're going to go back to the fuse board, and we're going to make sure that it is actually limiting as it should do. So come and join back at the fuse board. Right, the load management hub is inside the fuse board. So what we're going to do, we've programmed it to digitally limit this power supply with that CT that's in there. That's going to monitor the supply. And if you come and have a look around here, that's our load management hub. So that load management hub has been, through IT wizardry, it's linked to all 3 chargers now. So with all 3 chargers plugging in, without the limiting device, it will go straight to 8 and it will blow the fuse. But we've set it to stop the power supply from exceeding 55 amps, so the car chargers will intelligently ramp each other up and down according to who's using what. What I thought would be quite interesting is, this is a thermal imaging camera. Now, we don't really need to use the thermal imaging camera here, but thermal imaging I've always found quite interesting because you have your calculations and you do everything, and a thermal imaging camera is just interesting because it's the final say on everything and it really tells you what is going on. If you look at the camera, the hottest thing here at the moment is the RCBO, but just because that's red it doesn't mean that that's really hot. That's just the camera trying to indicate to you what's the hottest. So at the minute that's 13 degrees. We're going to take some readings now, predominantly of the mains coming in, and then what we'll do, we'll leave the fuse board on for about 10 minutes at 55 amps, and we'll just take some readings after that. But it's so cold, there are no signatures to be taken off those mains tails at the minute. Right, okay, so it has been on for, it's at 55 amps and it's now been running for about half an hour, and the hottest signature we got here is 15 degrees, so I was expecting a lot more higher temperature. So it comes to show that even when you do all of this design, so that's now the sub mains, you do all this designing, that is pulling 55 amps on a 16mm cable, and it's not even scratching 20 degrees. So it's just always really interesting to see in real terms what's going on. But yeah, there we go. Right, I'm probably going to wrap the video up now. I wanted to just go through a little bit of that with you, because the industry is moving towards what we would probably now begin to slowly and eventually call the third generation of fuses. So the first generation of fuses was thermal, so you had your cartridge fuses, your rewirable fuses. Then you had the second generation of fuses, which were thermomagnetic ones like your MCBs. And now we're moving towards digital fuses, which are also known as load management systems, because we've got to make the best of what we have in terms of our existing power supplies. We can't dig up the entire power system and renew everything so that we can use whatever we want, however we want. We can't do that. It's going to cost something like £2 trillion to dig up our infrastructure and replace it, which would cost more than COVID and the 2008 financial crisis combined. So it's not going to happen. We're going to become very reliant on load management systems, or digital fuses, or whatever you want to call them. We're going to become very reliant on them in the future, because it's not that a lot of our existing cabling coming into our buildings isn't adequate. It's just that we need to find a new way of using them to within the best of our abilities, using software and computers and IT. If you like the video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. It means a lot to us. This is like a really new channel. I'll keep trying to give you new content as frequently as possible. This footage took a long time to create because we did have some problems with the hub. We had to send the hub back, and it was a bit of a faff on the IT side of things. But other than that, keep tuned and we'll see you in the new episode. Thank you.